Good morning, guys. Today is April 17th, and of course, this has been an ongoing update of what's going on with me post op of 317. So, I did a little video a couple weeks ago and explained what happened, and I just kind of want to update you on my healing and stuff. So, I was rewatching the video to see all that I said and my theory, of course, and all that. And I realized that I was theorizing that maybe it was the pump that my body was rejecting. And I don't know if that's all it now because uh, a week ago today, or a week ago last night, the incision started opening up again. And I freaked out. So my doctor was out of town on vacation. And I called Monday morning and I got the runaround. I just was on the phone for a couple hours, and her department was not answering their phone. And I finally got a hold of a advice nurse, and she tried to get a hold of that department with her number to the back end, and no one was answering the phone. So she sent me to the ER or the emergency room, whichever one I wanted to go to. She was authorizing. So I ended up going to the urgent care, and it was going to take 3 hours to be seen. So they told me I could leave and come back, and I did that. And the incision was only open up about a quarter of an inch, and it wasn't really leaking that much. But I finally got in to see. I didn't even see a doctor. I saw an NP. I thought he was a doctor, or they said he was a doctor. But anyway, he listened to my story, and basically he didn't touch me. He looked at it and said he was going to send a note to the urologist on call and see what they suggest. And he wanted to do a CBC to see that will show any infection. And I thought, no, it's not. But I finally said, before he was closing up shop with me, and I said, hey, don't you want to at least do a culture in that area? I mean, that's what happened. They found the infection. Oh, yeah, yeah, we'll do a culture. So they did a cold. He said he went ahead and put me on ampicillin. He said this will clear out anything you got if you've got it or before you get it. And I'm like, okay, I'm not, as you guys know me, who's been watching me forever, I am not a big pill taker. I don't like antibiotics. I don't like that stuff. And I said, okay, but this whole this year for me has been really different. So I started the antibiotics. Uh, he said that I would either hear from the urgent care if the urologist got back to them, or the pathology report came back on the culture, or I will hear from the urologist department. So the next day came and gone, and I didn't hear anything. And I thought I'll give it a little time because the culture might take a little while. The CBC came back, everything was clear. I get those uh, on my Kaiser app. I can go into my medical record and it shows the tests, so I can see if I've gotten any irregular tests come back. So anyway, Tuesday morning comes, and I get a note from this NP and says, go pick up new prescription. You have an infection and the ampicillin won't touch it. It's like, or it's not reacting to the ampicillin. So I had to go and get Cipro, I think it's called. So I'm on that. The hole didn't get any bigger. It's been a week and it looks like it's closing now. They did, oh, I did get a call from LA Urology about 2 days later, 3 days, something like that. Told them what happened. And she looked at my medical record, saw what the NP put. She goes, I'm going to write Dr. Chi a note. She's supposed to be back tomorrow and she won't be seeing patients, but she will respond to emails. And I said, okay. So they sent her a note, and Dr. Chi wrote me. I got it Thursday night. And she says, she goes, I think that will heal up. You do have an infection. I don't know why you're getting so many infections. She goes, but we may never know. And that if it gets worse, to contact her. And otherwise, unless I have any questions or concerns, she'll see me in a year. And so I haven't bothered her. Uh, I did. I did not go for a ride this weekend. I told my wife, we're going to wait. I don't want to screw this thing up because I did that ride on Sunday and I'm just wondering if they didn't pull it open. But then I have an infection. So even that theory's gone. I don't know, guys, honestly. There's just some things medically with us that we just, doctors can't explain, scientists can't explain. We don't know. I know I'm healthy. I know I'm okay in that manner. I'm dealing with autoimmune issues, you know, in my later years. But here's the thing: it's like uh, a counselor for the trans group here in Bakersfield. We've become friends, so I don't see her anymore as far as counseling, but we'll meet once in a while for lunch. And I just saw her lately, and she goes, "What's up with you and these autoimmunes?" And I said, "You know what, Mary?" I said, "Let's think about this for a minute. Regardless of if you're a part of the what letter in the LGBTQ and any other letters they've added to that acronym, uh, you go years and years highly stressed, depending on how you were raised, depending on you know what societal pressures you have." I said, for me, I went many many years because I'm inward. I said, I my first 11 years of relationship right out of high school was hidden. And I would freak out if someone even thought that, about me. I feel like I had to prove I wasn't. And so I did a lot of things that were not natural to me. I said, and then dealing with the gender identity, not being able to be seen. I mean, yeah, you know, my first relationship, she pegged me more male than anything. And but I wasn't seen as that. And I said the gender identity is just even worse. You're in a group of people and the guys are all talking stuff and you're talking and you're rapping with them, but then you realize you're not part of them to a certain degree. And that's what it boiled down in my life was I knew I wasn't accepted or seen as male. So therefore I was accepted as a person, but I wasn't responded to more like a male, if that makes sense to any of you. I said, think about all the stress. I had high blood pressure in the early 20s. They couldn't figure out what was causing it. You know, I've had to date the opposite sex just to throw people off, and that didn't feel comfortable because for me it felt like it was the same sex. And having pressures of the family, getting married and having kids. And it wasn't my mom and dad. My mom, like I said in my previous videos, my mom and dad were the black sheep of the family. They didn't have these strict religious views or opinions. They basically let their children be who they were. So I got to be that tomboy, and my dad treated me like his boy. So, you know, I told her, I said, just think of all the years. And then finally, you're blossoming and you can let go of all that, but the body has endured physically, all this stress, the high cortisol levels, the high adrenaline when things would get scared, the up and down adrenaline, um, whatever you want to call it. And I said, I that's what I'm taking it as because I know how stressful I was through the years. I know I made many choices that were bad for me because I wanted to be accepted and loved, if that makes any sense at all. So even though I may not have been in love with somebody, I stayed with them because I wanted that commitment. I wanted that person was in love with me, so I wanted that. Um, yeah, there weren't good choices for me. There was some bad choices for me, but you know what? It's a part of life. Uh, I look back and I'm embarrassed with letting someone use and abuse me like I have. But on the other hand, I realized why I was there and why I kept going back. And so I just she agreed with me. She said there is a lot more things that go on in that community that even counselors don't understand, because we're unable to really express the things we went through. And so, I mean, to a point where someone can really, really understand it. If I told someone about some of the choices I made and how stupid I was, I took somebody back several times after they left me several times, they would look at me and go, "Why'd you do that? I mean, didn't you see?" And it, but that's not where I was mentally at the time. So I know some of you can understand what I'm trying to say. I'm not a big worded person, so I'm pretty plain and simple. So I try to explain those things. But anyway, that being said, back to the whole reason why I'm doing this video is to say, yeah, I got another infection, and so far it's closing up. It did not get bigger, and I'm not leaking the fluid like I was before. I didn't have to wear any pads. The first day I put toilet paper between, so I could catch it if it did, but it didn't. So I was very happy. Now Sunday night, yes, I was. That's how I found it. I found the fluid when I urinated. I went, what is this? And it's not urine. It's almost like a slimy fascia type of fluid. So anyway, yeah. So I got another infection. And here's something else. So I've been doing carnivore diet, but I haven't been strict carnivore. So come right after my surgery, I went 30 days strict carnivore just to see if it changed how I felt or anything. Uh, I ended up putting on weight. Now, some people would say from the carnivore community, "Oh, you probably put muscle on." No, I've been doing this a while and I've got muscle. And so I know when my muscle's growing and when it's not. And I've put on fat. And so my endocrinologist, and I said this in the last video about checking for Cushing's, and I'm negative for Cushing's. So I'm meeting her in May, at the end of May. We're going to go through everything. And although I have put on weight, as you can see, you can still see my two veins. So I'm not really heavily inflamed. I will have inflammation all the time just because of my autoimmune diseases, the Hashimoto's, my chronic illness, or my chronic pain in my feet. I will fight inflammation all the time. And I understand that. And I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay with, and this is my struggle, is that when I really try to do something for my body, and I'm doing it for the better good. So I don't go to fast food stores or fast food places. I don't go to, really, we don't go to restaurants anymore. I think we went to IHOP one time last year, maybe twice in the whole year. That was our place to go if we wanted a breakfast, and we like the different pancakes. So I haven't even been, out, but I mean, I basically eat animal products through the week. I've taken out milk or goat milk, kefir out of my diet because dairy does bloat me. I did buy some yogurt, just flat out dairy yogurt, milk, beef yogurt, because the NP did suggest maybe to have some probiotics in my system, and I thought, well, okay, I'll try it since it's an animal product, and I didn't bloat from that. I had some last night, uh, but I will keep trying, and I'm going to research this carnivore diet a little bit more. It's like I told my wife. I said, I have not done it. I've only done it 30 days strict one time out of this year and a half I've been doing it. And so I really need to get on board and just do it strict for 90 days. See how things change in 90 days. Don't, and the only thing what happens to me, and I've said it before, is I will break down and say, okay, let's have a cheat day. And we'll either go get a couple Danishes, or this last time we went to Dewar's ice cream, very famous here where I live. And I got 2 scoops of ice cream with some chocolate and caramel syrup on it. Not a big thing. My wife got a banana split. It was this big. I was just like, holy crap. And she ate everything except for the chocolate ice cream, and I did eat that. So I ate 3 scoops of ice cream, but they were like this big. So I to me that wasn't a whole lot. And then I did buy a snickerdoodle ice cream sandwich to go, and I had it the next day. That's all I had. 5 pounds after that. Yeah, 5 pounds. Some of it was probably swelling and inflammation, but 5 pounds after that, and I can feel it in my clothes and my stomach. I can't even hold in my gut right now. So what I did was, and this is all emotional. I'm telling you, this is why something triggers me emotionally. I either get depressed, and I think I got depressed over the infection, and it just um, what festered and festered and festered until I finally gave into it on the weekend. And then yesterday I got up and I said, "You know what, Tone? We haven't done this in a long time. Let's have some pancakes." And she goes, "Oh, okay." So she makes homemade pancakes, and they're very good. And we do buy the raw maple syrup, so we don't have any processed maple syrup. And it was really good. I had some peanut butter with it, which peanuts are supposed to be really toxic for you. And I thought to myself, I'm going to enjoy. So I did enjoy. Man, let me tell you, I paid that price. My guts is still sticking out. I haven't even got on the scale, but I told Tony, okay, I said, here's the difference with the pancakes, the big flour thing. I said, I am very bloated, very bloated. I had half a steak with it too, and she had a half a steak. But I said, you know what? Maybe once in a great while if I'm up for that. But I think I need to get back to the basics because I felt a lot better. So anyway, so this morning I decided to shave off my beard, go back to my original look. You can see more of my fat or inflammation. I can't even tell you what this is right now. I do have like a little double chin, and I don't even know if I got rid of that when I lost down to I've the most I've lost since I've changed my way of eating back in 2014 is 17 pounds. And that was just before my gender reassignment surgery. I got down to 210 and felt really good. And I do think clean eating, I ate vegetables and I had fruit, but I didn't have any cookies and, processed foods. And we didn't even have sauces that were processed. We made our own. So, yeah, I felt pretty good then too. But the, I turned to the carnivore because I like eating more carnivore than I do vegetables and stuff. I'm not a big, I like broccoli with a lot of butter on it, and I like cauliflower with a lot of butter on it, but I'm not a big vegetable person. I do like salads, but then I'm always hungry. And I was always hungry eating the other way. This way, I eat in the morning, I will have an inch thick ribeye or New York strip, and and then I don't eat until Tony gets home at 5. So I eat like 2 meals a day. I might have a snack about 1:32, and I do try to be very careful on that. It's the hardest time of the day for me, but I've bought pork rinds and there's cheese sticks and stuff like that. Cheese does fill me up. It and it's also high in fat, and that's what I need is more fat in my diet, along with the protein, but higher fat. So anyway, I'm mumbling about a bunch of things, but I am about a month. Today's the 17th month post op, and yeah, I did get a infection again, and it is closing up. So keep your fingers crossed for me. I'll keep trying to do what I do and take it one day at a time, like I always say to you guys. And I try to always make my journey as simple as possible. We'll talk to you later. Bye.